Hello, and welcome back to Hot Movies. Today I will recap a drama film, The Ballad of Jack and Rose. The story takes place around 1986. On an island, Jack Slavin, a Scottish farmer, lives with his daughter Rose. Several decades ago, the island was a hippie community. However, developers are now looking to develop homes in the neighborhood and settle with their families. Jack is doing everything in his power to keep the developers away from the island. Rose, on the other hand, is a lovely teen who grew up isolated from the outer world. Rose was homeschooled and cared for by Jack after her mother left the home. Jack has a heart problem and is running out of time. As a result, he suggests to Rose that they hire someone to assist them. But Rose refuses to let anybody else into their lives and storms out. She dashes to her tree house and sobs. Jack pursues her and informs her that she will go before he dies. Rose, on the other hand, responds that the day he dies will also be her last. Rose fears losing Jack since he is the only person she loves in her life. Rose will be absolutely alone without him because she has no one else in her life besides Jack. After telling her a story, Jack departs for a nearby town, claiming to be on business. When Jack arrives in town, he goes to the home of a woman named Kathleen. She is Jack's girlfriend, and they have been together for a while. Kathleen agrees to move into Jack's house and live with him. He also assures her that she is welcome to bring her two children to live with them. Kathleen accepts his request and inquires whether Rose is aware of it. And Jack responds that he will look after her. Jack arrives home and informs Rose that he has invited some visitors to stay with them as an experiment. Kathleen arrives the next day with her two sons Thaddeus and Rodney. Jack and Rose greet them and assist them with their luggage. Rose, however, recognizes that they will be staying for a long period after seeing their luggage and things. Rose is troubled by the unfamiliar faces and feels excluded from her own home. Rose is furious with Jack and decides to leave. Jack pursues her and attempts to converse with her. But Rose is upset with him since he kept his relationship with Kathleen hidden from her. Jack explains that this is nothing more than an experiment. If Rose grows to like Kathleen and her sons, they will be able to stay together. But if they don't, Jack will ask them to leave. On that same day, Thaddeus comes to Rose and asks her to show him any close, snake-catching spots. Rose drives him to the woods, where Thaddeus erects his trap. Thaddeus is interested in her, but Rose dislikes him. Rose arrives home later that night and goes to her room. She overhears Jack and Kathleen giggling on her way. Rose enters a small room to spy on them and discovers them having sexual relations in bed. She enters her room, removes her top, and examines her figure. Rose has an odd jealousy for Kathleen. Kathleen, she believes, is snatching Jack from her. Rose walks downstairs topless and requests that Rodney make intimacy with her. She believes that if she loses her virginity, Jack will fall in love with her again. Rodney is taken aback and refuses to mate with her. He tries to reason with her, but Rose chases him in order for them to mate. Rodney, on the other hand, is a guy of commitment who respectfully declines her. Instead, he trims Rose's hair. Rose grabs the shotgun and walks straight to her father's bedroom, after getting her hair cut. Kathleen awakens, terrified to discover Rose waving a gun at them. Rose is frightened by her and drops the gun, which misfires. Jack walks Rose inside her room, completely taken aback. However, he quickly forgets about the incident and believes she only did it to terrify Kathleen. Kathleen, on the other hand, believes Rose has a psychological problem and advises Jack to send Rose to a school for troubled children. However, Jack is irritated by this and informs Kathleen that there is nothing wrong with Rose. He only wants Kathleen to look after Rose after he dies. Rose and Rodney become excellent friends over time. One day, a man named Gray arrives at their home, delivering flowers to Rose and Jack. Rose later asks Gray to teach her how to kiss. Gray tells Rose that her first kiss should be sweet and natural, not planned. Rose informs him that he can kiss her romantically. Gray, on the other hand, refuses and departs. Rodney and Rose went to the docks one day to pick up Rodney's pal Redberry. Rose shows Redberry her tree house after they arrive home, where they spend the entire day having fun. Rose returns to the woods later that night and discovers a copperhead caught in Thaddeus' trap. Rose made the decision to bring it with her. While driving back, Rose notices Redberry and Thaddeus kissing in his car. Rose resolves to give her virginity to Thaddeus after being denied by both Rodney and Gray. Rose then comes home and hides the copperhead beneath her bed. Thaddeus later enters Rose's room. Despite her distaste for him, Rose enables him to mate with her. The lock of the cage falls open due to the vibration of the bed, and the copperhead slips into a hole. Rose double-checks her linens after Thaddeus has left. She discovers blood marks and dances in delight. When Jack wakes up the next morning, he notices Rose has hung her bleeding bedsheet in the front yard and has inscribed "just an experiment." Jack is heartbroken to realize that his daughter has been damaged. Just as he is going to scold Rose, Kathleen screams out loud as she spots the copperhead enter the bedroom. Jack tries to track down the copperhead and kill it before it kills anyone. Meanwhile, Thaddeus discovers his prison beneath Rose's bed. Rose admits that all she intended to do was scare Kathleen. Jack approaches Thaddeus after dealing with the copperhead and gives him one day to leave for damaging his daughter Virginity. Rose hosts a show of a homemade film about the hippie commune in her treehouse that night. While everyone is watching the movie, Thaddeus tries to kiss Rose. Jack is enraged and strikes him. Rose pushes Thaddeus during the brawl. After that, he falls from the treehouse. Kathleen is furious with Rose and orders her to leave. Thaddeus survives the accident and is taken to the hospital. Rodney invites Rose to accompany him on his departure from the island. Rose, on the other hand, gently declines, stating that she cannot leave Jack in his current predicament. Rose, however, is furious with Jack for not having the bravery to express his love and flees. She goes to one of the housing estates to be alone. Jack waits for Rose to come back home for days, but she never does. Jack gets fed up with waiting and sets out to find Rose. He discovers her in one of the housing developments and apologizes to Rose for letting the outside world within. He was afraid that if he died, there would be no one to look after Rose. Rose expresses her desire to never see Kathleen again. Not after the events at the treehouse. Jack understands he must make a choice between his girlfriend and his daughter. So he leaves, claiming that he must attend to a deal. He returns home and offers Kathleen $10,000, then $15,000, to have her leave. Kathleen agrees to leave for $20,000. Jack comes back to the housing development and informs Rose that Kathleen has decided to go. Rose is thrilled with the news because it means it's just the two of them again. Kathleen is leaving the next day, so Jack and Rose spend the night there. Rose sits next to Jack on the bed. Rose kisses Jack as they stare at each other. This astounds Jack, who cannot believe his daughter is in love with him. He also cries as he blames himself for letting her to kiss him. Jack awakens the next morning still disturbed by the remembrance of the kiss. He boards the bulldozer and demolishes the housing construction. Next, Jack and Rose visit the home of real estate developer Marty Rance. Jack intended to tell him that he had wrecked the housing development, but Marty insists he can rebuild it easily. He also offers Jack a large quantity of money in exchange for his land. Jack gives up since he has no more fight in him, and decides to sell his land to Marty. Rose is dissatisfied with his decision and does not want Jack to give up. But Jack has made his decision because he wants Rose to have a future. Rose and Jack return home to find Kathleen gone. Because of his cardiac condition, Jack is currently quite weak and doesn't have much time left. Rose awakens the next morning to discover that Jack has died in his sleep. Rose, who had planned to commit herself when Jack died, lies next to her father and sets fire to the house. However, she later changes her mind and flees. Rose is currently living in Vermont and working at a greenhouse where Gray also works. She is pursuing her gardening interest and living the life that her father desired for her. And the film ends here. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and enable notifications for more interesting content. See you in the next video.